On garde les 85 sur le drone parce que, en fait, je trouve que finalement, c'est une valeur très juste pour le drone. Souvent, avec les longues focales, il y a trop de mouvements et là, franchement, ça réagit super bien.
I have previous experiences of shooting with Sony cameras. My first fiction feature was shot on Sony FS7. I have been using Sony cameras ever since the school training. The main sense of my job is to find the meaning behind the story. So the story is the basis, and I have to think about emotions and about the people who will be watching the film. For this Sony project, I had to start from technical aspects and develop the story. So it's kind of the opposite from how I would work on a fiction. To challenge the new 85mm with Sony BURANO camera, I was looking for this place in the wild nature. That's how I chose the Camargue region in the south of France, with the horses running wild and free. It was important for me to take some distance from the action to show the whole immensity of the beautiful Camarguian landscape. So we put one BURANO on the drone and we had amazing shots with camera flying over the horses, meeting them. I really wanted to challenge the new 85mm and take advantage of its beautiful shallow depth of field. So when we put it on the drone, I actually put it quite open, high speed. I used automatic ND filters to always stay with the same diaphragm, so it would challenge the autofocus of the lens. I had this remote app on my phone where I could actually choose, like, for example, a focus zone or do some other changes in the settings. And the 85mm lens, paired with the BURANO, performed very smooth and precise focus follow-ups. The idea was to shoot the story over the course of the day, with all the lights changing, with the sun being low, tender but very colorful lights. I really like strong images with character, which have a lot of contrast in it, especially when you want to put it in a picture the horses bringing their force and their mobility. So the counter light of the sun was really important to me for the narration. Sometimes the camera was really facing the sun, and it did perfectly well with the highlights and integrating them in the whole image. Filming the morning nature in the counter light with the 85mm made me discover its beautiful bokeh and delicate poetic flares. I used rec focus for the narration purposes, and I discovered that the breathing is very well suppressed in this lens. To accompany the visual narration, I chose this poem by Edvard Muir. It's called The Horses, where the human meet again with the horses that they have been separated from, and it's like a new hope, new encounter between a human and the nature. While shooting with wild animals, sometimes you have to be very reactive, which gives some shaky shots. But BURANO has this sensor which is stabilized during the shooting. And used with the 85mm optimized for the camera, it has delivered a very stable image, way beyond that what I expected. The new lens is lightweight and fits perfectly the Sony BURANO, also a lightweight camera, so shooting handheld for long periods was effortless. The BURANO camera used with this type of lenses could be very helpful in the situations when you can't have a big crew or you can't be accompanied by a focus puller. Shooting a film can be very challenging, and it's important for any cinematographer to be helped by its tools and by its crew, and never fight against its own equipment. I usually prefer shooting with prime lenses for both documentary and fiction, because it encourages me to make strong choices for camera position and makes me feel more connected to the subject and the story of the film.